Hi, everybody. Um, Lots of new things this week. So, new podcast, which I'll link below. First Instagram sort of recording in a while. And now this. Um, so, this week I've allowed myself to really sort of feel into things. So, things that I've known and sensed for a while that haven't felt right. Something's just felt off. Um, and I felt that, but I haven't been willing to really dive into it. And I've tried to pretend that I was fine and that everything's okay. Um, and this week for me has really been about taking a look at that and being like, no, everything's not okay. So, for example, tomorrow I'm going to have a pretty uncomfortable conversation for me, but I know that it's going to be freeing and healing and releasing regardless of outcome, um, because I'm going to be speaking my truth and I'm going to be allowing the person that I have to have this conversation with to speak their truth as well. Which brings me to the point of this recording. So this is about how I really feel like this time for me and possibly for you, um, is about really honoring exactly where you're at and really feeling into what's been going on within you, for a while now that you haven't wanted to pay attention to. So it can show up in so many different forms. It can show up in sadness. For me, it shows up in anger. I've been actually pretty angry, and I haven't been really willing to admit that I was angry. I've been angry, at the fact that I had to leave London before I was ready to leave London, and that I felt like I didn't have the chance to properly close out that chapter, before settling into life back in Seattle. And I've been angry at, a particular person. This is the conversation I'm going to have tomorrow. Wish me luck. Knock on wood. Oh wait, there's no wood here. Anywho, I'm angry with this particular person because I feel like my time has been, not valued. I'm angry with I'm grieving. That's the thing. I'm grieving my old way of life. I know I wrote about this, a couple blogs ago, but it's like I was trying to pretend that I was healed, that I was like ready to move into a state of acceptance, and I'm not there, right? I'm not at acceptance yet. I am at anger slash moving into, like, I don't like the term depression. I like deep rest. I'm taking this course with Jeff Foster, and like it's profound. It's changing my world. Um, but it's like I can't jump from recognizing that I'm grieving to acceptance without feeling into every stage in between. And so that's what this is about. This recording is about, is that, I've realized over the course of the last week, because I've really let myself sit with my emotions, that I can't jump forward, that I'm not honoring myself and my emotions and my feelings when I do that. And so it just sets up a repetitive cycle where these things just keep coming into my life and I keep getting triggered and triggered and triggered. And that's not because of the outside circumstances, but because of the fact that I haven't allowed myself to move through the grieving process. I wanted to read you guys, an email that a really good friend of mine just forwarded it to me. It's from a woman called Katie Stone. She owns, I will link it. She owns a wellness. I might butcher this, so I feel bad if I do. Ubuntu Wellness, Acupuncture, and Herbal Medicine. So her email says this, and it just struck so many chords, and it just, reaffirmed my desire to come in and actually record me speaking this. I'm going to write about it too, of course, but I've realized that there's so much more power, for me in not just writing to express all of these things, but also speaking to them, and then when I feel called to, recording myself as well. So her email says this. So she says, I wanted to write to you today about emotions, comparison, and a little thing we call spiritual bypass. Which, okay, disclaimer here. I've heard the term spiritual bypassing before. This is Maria speaking, not the email. And immediately when my friend started reading this email, I was like, oh, I already know about spiritual bypassing. I'm totally not doing that. That's where you don't want to deal with things, and I'm absolutely fine. Like, I know this already, right? Okay. That's my disclaimer there. Like, I went into this when she started it and I was like, yeah, I know the term spiritual bypassing. I'm not spiritual bypassing, but it's okay. I will humor my friend and I will let her read this email to me. Then she kept going and I was like, oh, well, SHITA, like, I might be spiritual bypassing. Well, actually, I'm not anymore, but I was earlier this week. Okay, continuing on. Back to her words, not mine. Spiritual bypass happens when we live as though we've healed a wound or fully processed something, but we haven't actually finished the work. We're pretending to be a whole version of ourselves in an effort to avoid open holes and painful excavation. In relationships, we see this often. Pretending to have worked through jealousy and insecurity when you've actually just stuffed the feelings. Acting as though you've grieved the end of a relationship or marriage so you can escape being alone and hop into another bond. In emotional realms, it can look like avoiding codependency by claiming to be an empath or being the nicest, sweetest person you can be as a way of avoiding depression or self-defeating thoughts. Darlings, denying our truth is self-harm. Living as someone we are not prevents us from receiving love and authentic connection. We not only manipulate ourselves, but we inadvertently hurt the people we care about. What we are moving through right now is an unprecedented time. Using that phrase feels so insanely cliche to me, but it's true. We've never been through this before. Something I am noticing is that there seems to be this pervasive message that we should all be doing, creating, purging, and getting in the best shape of our lives. There are a lot of things flying at us telling us to be positive. Friends, there is no greater instance of spiritual bypass than enforcing yourself to feign positivity and spiritual zen when you are freaking the F out inside. This is her, not me. I've done so many sessions over the last month that have centered around healing the shame people are feeling for not making the most of this quarantine. The exhausted sense of urgency, the vague FOMO, the untethered restlessness. Sweetheart, this is not a snow day or a vacation. We are in a global crisis. We are in grief. We are being tested on our relationship with uncertainty like never before. You do not have to pretend you're okay. That's what hit home right there. That was Maria. Now I'm back to her words. You do not have to find meaning in this. You do not have to bake banana bread and repaint your living room and crush your dream productivity goals, not clothes. Please stop shoulding, shoulding all over yourselves. Your only duty in all of this is to be with yourself exactly as you are and to ask for help and love when you need it. This permission slip is yours, and I'm sending it to you with a fancy bow and a ripe mango. So when she read that to me, I was like, part of this conversation I need to have tomorrow is going to be me actually saying I need help. I feel like I'm having to do all of these things on my own, and a lot of this might be my own interpretation of it, or probably is my own interpretation of it, but I can't change the fact that that's how I feel. And it's not okay. It's me admitting to myself that it's not okay, me admitting to this other person that it's not okay, me admitting that I don't feel okay in this situation. All of it. And it's like for so long I was trying to pretend that I was. Not even just with this conversation I have to have tomorrow, But with where my life is right now, like, I am grieving. I am still working through the radical transformation my life has had in the last 2 weeks, where I'm actually recording this from a basement studio that two of my wonderfully dear friends have allowed me to live in. But it's, it's not my space, it's their space. And it's like, there's just a lot going on for me right now. And I keep trying to pretend that I'm perfectly fine. And if I'm being honest with myself, I'm not. I'm not perfectly fine. I'm grieving. I'm grieving and I'm sad and I'm mad. And I know that eventually that I will get to the other side. I absolutely know that. But the only way I can get to the other side is if I'm really honest with myself and how I'm feeling, and allow myself the spaciousness to really honor those emotions, the sadness, the anger, the depression, the deep rest that I'm going to need from the huge shift of, no, I'm not going to be traveling the world. I'm actually going to be hunkering down in Seattle until I don't know when, before I can really get to that state of acceptance. So that's what's going on. That's my thoughts and insights today. Wanted to just test out recording a video for you guys. And I'll also make this a podcast as well. But sending lots of love and light. Thank you all for tuning in as you have. I love you. I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves out there. And I hope if you get anything from listening to this today, just know that, like, whatever emotions you're feeling, they're okay. And it's absolutely, like, I wrote about this a few weeks ago, but it's sunk in on a deeper level for me this last week, because I have allowed myself to be and really feel. Like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve. Like, there is so much changing and shifting in our world, and the only way that we can really get to the space of really truly being grateful for everything that's coming is to allow ourselves to fully grieve the loss of everything we knew from before. Okay. Be compassionate too. Be compassionate with yourselves, and know that how you're feeling is normal and perfect for you, and that I'm holding you in love and light. I love you. I know I've said that already, but it's true, and I appreciate you. All right. I will be compassionate with myself as well. Speak to you guys soon. Take care.